Hi, this is Erin from Blossy Bee. Welcome to my channel. The plan for this video is to create a magical, multi-layered set of Halloween-inspired ornaments using Apothecary bottles, crystals, and stunning foil holographic stickers. This video is part of Claire's Crafty Corner's Halloween 2025 collaboration, which I'm thrilled to be a part of, along with so many other wonderfully talented resin artists from around the world. The link to this binge-worthy playlist is in the description box. Thank you, Claire, for this wonderful opportunity. This is part 2 of my Halloween series, and if you haven't yet checked out my first video, I'll leave the link below. I had so much fun unpacking some beautiful new molds, resins, glitter, stickers, and gorgeous pigment powders. Make sure you're subscribed and have notifications turned on so you don't miss out on part 3, where I make the most beautiful Apothecary bottles and display. As I'm starting to edit this video, I can see I've got well over 3 hours of footage and I haven't even added in any of the last layers or demolding. So my job is going to be to condense this all down into something that is enjoyable to watch and hopefully inspirational and educational. I'm definitely going to have to fast forward through quite a few parts, but if you are new to my channel, welcome, and you would like to know any more details of what I'm doing or the way I normally work, please feel free to leave a message in the comments and I would love to help you out. The pigments I'm using here are absolutely stunning pearl pigments from Solid Solutions, an Australian company. The first one I used is the Metallique Silver and then the Sin Star Gold. I'm just popping a little bit into 4 separate cups, and this one is a gorgeous lilac, and I'm going to be adding in some River Art resin. This is my absolute preferred of all resins. It is a deep pour 2-to-1 epoxy and just stunningly clear and easy to work with. The last of the blends here is going to be this beautiful deep black plum holographic glitter. So you can see in front of me I have got a 6-piece coaster mold set. Now this is a very deep coaster mold and I'm using this because I want to make some beautiful ornaments and I want them to have a very 3-dimensional layered appearance. We're going to be pouring the first layer now, but then this takes me over a week to get all of these layers built up and cured in between, and then to the point where I can finish them off. So it is a long process, but it isn't a difficult process. So if you are new to resin and you are interested in creating items and open to spending time on them, this kind of project is a really good one. You're able to add in lots of additional items to your pieces, including stickers and decals and little rocks and gems, crystals, all sorts of things, glitters, any other embellishments to achieve the look you're going for. So the base of these ornaments is going to be hopefully a lovely blended mixture of these 4 colours. I'm putting in a little bit of each. I'm trying to do them each similarly, and resin, being resin, doesn't always follow that pattern, but I am attempting to do the same to each one. And the idea is that this resin, as it cures, it will shrink and it will blend, and yeah, all the lovely things that we love about resin. And I'm just hoping that in the end I get a really fairly dark, moody slightly spooky, witchy background. And so that's my goal. And as I said, you just keep pouring in all of these layers until you get your desired colouring. And obviously I want to make sure that this first layer completely covers the base of this coaster mould. Before I set this aside to start the curing process, I'm going to give it a spray with isopropyl alcohol. That will help reduce any bubbles that might pop through. And I'm also going to go around the edges of each of the pieces with a little stick. It's just a little plastic stick. So here we are. Normally, this River Art Resin Deep Pour is about a 24-hour cure. However, I needed this to be not quite cured. So more than a gel stage, but not quite cured, because I want to sit some pieces into it and I want them just to adhere ever so slightly. So I've got here some tattooed designed metallic holographic decals, and I'm going to be using these in combination with some of the absolutely beautiful stickers that I've just bought, which you could see in part 1 of this series. Now I'm doing all of this fully aware that by the end you will barely see any of these, but I'll know they're there. I'm trying really hard to create, quite a deep set of images, and so this was a lot of fun. And with any of these types of stickers, they usually come on a clear backing, and for the purposes of this, I'm not removing that backing. So I'm just actually placing the pieces down as they come, and you will be able to see a little bit of the outline of the transparent background there, but these will actually be covered up a little bit more through the process, so I'm not at all worried. And you can see there I've snipped off a few pieces. I'll cut some down to size. I go in and take pieces off other decals. It doesn't matter how you get the pieces you want, just that they're there and that you can lay them in. Now I'm trying to be very careful because this is still not cured resin, but as I said, I do need it to be slightly tacky so that I can adhere these pieces to it. A really lovely feature of a lot of the foil holographic stickers you buy now is that they are silver on one side and gold on the other. And I think that just gives you double the amount of creativity options. So you could go with a mixture of both or one or the other. And so you'll see now I'm just going in, I'm filling in any little gap I can see there. It's important to me that I get these quite covered with the decals. While I've got this lovely tacky resin to work with, I'm going to add in some of these beautiful pink and white crystals. Now I know that the white ones are probably going to almost disappear once I pour resin over them, but I know they're there, and because I like things to be symmetrical, I decide I'm going to place one of each, and I'll just pop them a little bit close to each other, and I think that they look really pretty. They're also quite chunky, especially the pink ones, and this mould is perfect for that because it's so deep. There's no risk of them coming up over the top. You'll often see me during this video putting my hand over the top of one of the mould areas, and that's because I'm just testing to make sure that it isn't going up over the top. Once I've got all of those into position, I go a little bit mad with adding in some extra pieces. This is German glass glitter. It's a teal colour, and I'm just going to go in and sprinkle a little bit of this around the edges And then I've also got these gorgeous little multicoloured stones, and I'm going to do exactly the same with those. So I'm hoping that when you look at the ornaments from different angles, you'll catch the different pieces shining, and that it'll all build together to make this 3D effect. Now I've got some tiny little chips of what I think are amethyst. However, out of respect to all of you who actually know about these things, about crystals and stones and minerals and gems and what the meaning of them is, I am not going to go into that at all, because I'm choosing these just purely for their aesthetic. I wish I knew more about that, but I don't. So I'm just putting in whatever makes me feel happy and makes it look pretty. And I'm having so much fun just sprinkling different little pieces over. After I've done that, I'm going to just add a little layer of clear resin with the goal of just keeping all of those pieces that I've added in now in place. When I'm happy with this layer, I'm going to set it aside to continue the curing process, because I've got business. Remember, in the last video, I made some gorgeous little Apothecary bottles from that beautiful Finnabair mould. And I'm going to now go through and on some of them use this beautiful Finnabair Metallique wax in the celestial colour. And the idea is that this will bring out some of those beautiful details. My preference is to put this onto the items with a gloved hand. And the reason for that is that I've actually discovered it goes everywhere. It's a very powerful little paste, these little waxes, and I'm so happy to see that these details are popping out beautifully with this celestial colour. So in my previous video, when I unboxed all of these items, I found that when I was looking at the different colours you could get, this one stood out to me because it's not quite silver and it's not quite white. It's just got that really celestial, magical colouring to it, and I thought it would be super pretty. And I'm just so obsessed with this mould already. I'm loving it. I love how these details are just embedded in here, and it just makes them so pretty. When I finished, I just go through and wipe off any excess that's on my glove onto the bottles, because why not? Okay, look at these gorgeous labels. So these I found on Creative Fabrica, and I printed them out, and I've done them in 3 different sizes. They are all teeny tiny. It was one of those great little sitting on the sofa watching TV little jobs, cutting out all these tiny little labels. Anyway, I'm using Mod Podge matte, and I'm going to just get a teeny little brush. I'll find a label that I think would suit a particular bottle, and then I'm going to put some Mod Podge on the back of the label, adhere it to the bottle, and then I'll go over the top as well. I absolutely want to soak the label in the Mod Podge because I want to protect it from when I put it into resin. And I'm going for a crusty vintage look, so if it has any dried up glue on it, I don't care. It'll add to it. That's the wonderful thing about doing a project like this. Now, this is fiddly, but oh, it was so much fun. So first cab off the rank in our labelled bottles are the goblin tears, because who doesn't need goblin tears in your Apothecary bottle collection? I think it's important. And as I mentioned, I'm just making sure I go right over the edges, all over the top, getting it as wet as I need to make sure that this label is not going to go anywhere and that it is fully sealed all around. And I think these just look amazing. I'm just love it. The teeny tininess of it, and just their gorgeous illustrations, and of course these beautiful bottles. And not to mention, in the first video I unboxed all of these colours. There were 3 different sets. There are chrome chameleon powders, there was some sort of mermaid aurora powders, and some just chrome metallic powders. And each of these bottles, pretty much, there's a couple of double ups, but most of them are a completely unique colour. So I feel like I'm making them even more special by adding these little labels to them. Of course, I'm not going to add a label to the ones that already have the embossed design on it, because they're just perfect as they are. And I'll just go through now. I'll speed it up and pop all of the labels on, and I must say I can absolutely see the attraction in working with miniature items. I don't think I could do it all the time, but it is so rewarding when you end up with these such detailed, beautiful little pieces, and yeah, they just are something to be appreciated. I'm so happy that this is all coming together so beautifully. As I mentioned in my unboxing video, this is the first time I've owned a mould like this, and it is a real, just a treat. I've wanted this mould for so long. They're expensive moulds, and so I hope that I can do justice to this, and you'll get to see in my next video I make so many more. I do go a little bit Apothecary bottle crazy. It gets into my blood, and I just want to try all of the colours, all of the designs. Okay, once I have got all of these securely labelled, I'm going to take some brown twine, and I'm going to cut some lengths and start just winding them around the neck of some of the bottles. To secure the twine, I'm just going to use a little bit of Mod Podge and stick that to the back, and I'm also going to coat the string in Mod Podge as well, just to seal it. And I'm also going to try and sort of fluff out a couple of little strands of the twine, just to give it a rough, older type of a look. And again, if I've got the little bit of Mod Podge onto the actual jars, the more the merrier as far as I'm concerned. I would just like to take this opportunity to thank Claire from Claire's Crafty Corner very much for the opportunity to participate in this Halloween craft collaboration for 2025. I haven't participated in a collaboration for a very long time, just due to some pretty complicated family situations, illness, all sorts of bits and pieces, and the wonderfully supportive groups that I've normally participated in have just felt a little too overwhelming for me for the last couple of months. And so I know I've missed out on a lot of that friendship and a lot of different collaborations, and I do miss it. But as I said, it just gets very, very overwhelming for me. So I saw Claire's advertisement for this collaboration just pop up on my YouTube subscription feed, and I thought, why not? I want to be part of this. I always want to be as open and honest with you as I can about different issues with mental health and anxiety and social anxieties and lack of self-esteem and things like that. And I know that there are a lot of us who go through these struggles, and also huge changes of circumstances in our personal lives, and our loved ones needing more care, or transitioning into another part of their life. So I wanted to just say, you aren't alone. I know I'm not alone. My subscribers are absolutely amazing, and I definitely feel the love regularly, and I want to send those same thoughts back out to you as well. So if you've got stuff going on in your life, and we all do, just know I'm so grateful that you're spending this time with me. It means the world to me. And if you want to chat, hit me up in the comments, because I feel like that's the only way we get through. I know there are times when you just can't talk, and I've probably been going through that the last couple of months. Just that mentality of I need to get out of bed every day, and that's pretty much all I can cope with. But things change and things improve, and so if I can be a support to any of you, that would be a huge honour. So huge virtual hugs going out to anyone watching who's just got any challenges that they're dealing with at the moment. You are not alone. You are never alone. And if now is a good time for you to reach out and acknowledge it, or to just say hi, I'd love to hear from you. If not, when you're ready, I'll be here. And that's the end of that little ramble. So here are our coasters, and they are just looking so pretty. It is time to start embedding into these gorgeous little Apothecary bottles. Now again, we're not quite 100% cured, because I did just want to have that slight stickiness that will allow these to sit down. Now, the weird and wonderful part of my brain that loves symmetry and odd numbers and all those things has dictated that I put in a certain amount of bottles with the pictures and a certain amount with the patterns, and I absolutely loved this part. It was so much fun choosing which bottles to lay where and what to sit next to them. And I've ended up putting 5 bottles into each of the little cavities. And this just shows you how deep these moulds really are, because, I can really push them to the limit with all the bits and pieces I can get into here. Once I've got all of the bottles into place and I'm really happy with the layout, I'm going to start adding in on top some little more, always more, little rocks, embellishments, glitters. And the first one that I pop in is this little bluey purple sort of cellophane shards that came with the pigments, the chameleon powder pigments. You would have seen them in my unboxing video in my previous one. So I'm just sprinkling a few of these over, and remember, I'm trying to make a 3D effect, not just from the top down but also from the side. This is some more of the German glitter glass, and this one is in the colour fuchsia, and I'm hoping that this just makes some really bright little just highlights onto each of the pieces. And now I'm going to use these teal green dyed rocks. I presume they're dyed. They could be the real thing, I'm just not sure. Pop those in as well. And I'm thinking that it's just looking so interesting. When you look at these, I want you to not quite know where to look. I want you to just see all of the different components and be like, whoa. So mixing up another little batch of River Art resin. And so this layer of resin is going to firmly embed all of these bottles in place. Oh, but wait, there's more. There's always more. So this is just some little sort of a bronzy gold little dyed rocks that I had left over from another project. And I thought, why not? We'll just put those in. And then I'm just going to drizzle over this resin. I don't need a lot. This is not like a final layer or anything. It is just simply to make sure that we've got everything firmly secured inside of the mould. I allow this layer to cure for close to 24 hours, and then I'm ready for my final layer. When I'm looking at these now, I'm in love, totally in love, but I want to make them a bit darker. So I'm using these dark little pebbles that I purchased from Harry and Wilma, and I've also got these little sort of amber stones, which I think came from just Resin. Now I'm pretty certain that these will almost disappear once the final coat of resin goes over, but I'm okay with that because what it'll do, it creates almost a distortion in the resin, and it creates just the thought that there's something else in there. And yeah, that's the idea I'm going for. Just checking again to make sure that I haven't reached the top of these molds, because I don't want anything sticking out. I want them to be completely underneath that top level. As I'm putting these last few little embellishments into here, I'm making sure that I'm absolutely happy with the composition, because this is it. I've finally reached the point where I'm not going to be putting anything more in. So I do turn the molds around just so that I can get a look from the other side and make sure that they are fairly even and everything's distributed how I would like it, and also that none of the little extras that I've added in are too close to the edge of the mold. I want to make sure that the final layer of resin can actually go down the edges really cleanly so that we get that nice crisp, hopefully, fingers crossed, that nice crisp finish when I'm done. So this is it. This is what they look like, and it is now time to mix up my final batch of the River Art Resin Deep Pour and pour it on. And this has been a long time coming. So it's exciting to be able to see the final layer going on, and just, oh, I'm loving looking into these. Every time I look at one, I see something different, whether it's one of the Apothecary bottles or some of the crystals or extra little stones, or even all the way back down to that beautiful blended first layer with all those rich pigments and the gorgeous sparkling holographic stickers. It's just mesmerizing. I'm here for it. I'm taking my time with this last layer because I want to make sure that the resin is able to self-level down in among all of the little additions, and I also want to take time to make sure that if there are any bubbles that are going to rise up, that they get plenty of time. I'm just using my little lightweight hairdryer to give a little burst of heat, not too much, but just making sure that that resin can get down into all of the nooks and crannies of the pieces that I've added in there, and then I'm ready to do the absolute final pour. Whilst these were curing, I made sure they were in a dust-free environment, and I did leave them for nearly 48 hours. I just wanted to be absolutely certain that all of the levels were fully cured and ready to go. And here we are, and I'm nervous and I'm excited. I've popped some gloves on because I really don't want to risk marking them if they're not fully cured. I think they are though. So let's have a look at the first one. I'm going to call this my Raven Ink one, and I'm just loving it. I love the sides. I love how you can see all of the layers that are built up there. I love all of the details. I'm loving that bottle with the embossed details on it. All the little stones and pieces that are in it. There's just so much to look at. And now I'm seeing them like this, I think they would be beautiful as paperweights as well. I will show you shortly how I do have them on display stands, but just loving them. Whichever way they come, I love them. Okay, let's have a look at this one. I'm going to call this one Dead Man's Dust because that's there. And I can see that I've broken my rule, my goal of having a mix of labelled and embossed bottles. So there you go. It's gorgeous. Oh, I'm actually loving those splodges of the little dark pebbles in here too. Batwing Infusion and Goblin Tears. Okay, our third one here. And gee, the backs are pretty as well. This one I'm going to call the Blood Moon Serum one. And look at the bottle to the left of it with all of that embossing on it. The Finnabair Apothecary mould is stunning. So again, it's just so beautiful, so detailed. You can just get lost in all of these layers. Number 4. Oh, I'm loving this so much. This one I'm going to call the Witch Hazel Elixir one. And again, those beautifully detailed bottles. I love how the twine around them has come out. And again, these layers are just mesmerising. They just look like a multi-layered little mini universe in there. Okay, number 5. I'm loving this one. I'm going to call this one Werewolf Fur Tonic. And just, again, I just feel like I'm saying the same thing over and over. And I'm just feeling so vain because I made them, but I just love them. I think it's so nice when you can make something you're super proud of and that you love and that you've put so much effort into. And here it is. And this one I'm going to call a Toad Tongue Tonic. Try saying that quickly 27 times. And look, the details in here again are just beautiful. Just that combination of all the different elements has left us with a very, very stunning, in-depth, 3D, gorgeous Halloween, witchy, apothecary, crazy mixture. I'm, absolutely thrilled. So there are the 6 coasters that we have made. And as I mentioned, I think now that these would be absolutely beautiful as chunky paperweights. And I'm also going to show you in a moment a little video of them sitting on some little display stands, and I've just poured these out of clear resin, and I think they look super pretty on that as well. And oh my goodness, these look so different on a black background, and this has made me wonder how they would look sitting on a little timber stand with the nightlight behind it. I have so many ideas now. I just think they would be super sparkly and spooky. Then I started wondering what they would look like as a sort of a 2D crystal ball. And so I had a bit of a play around with some images and inserted my pieces on top of their crystal balls. And that's a possibility as well. Anyway, let me know in the description box below if you had a favourite out of the Toad Tongue Tonic, Dead Man's Dust, Werewolf Fur Tonic, Witch Hazel Elixir, Blood Moon Serum, or the Midnight Raven Ink. Again, I'm so grateful for you joining me today. It has been such a pleasure to share this time with you, and I'm so excited to check out everybody else's videos in the amazing Claire's Crafty Corner Halloween collaboration for 2025. So do check out that link, and I know all of us are fairly new channels or smaller channels. And so I know leaving a like, subscribing, sharing, and of course, leaving a comment would go a long way to make all of the amazing artists contributing to feel very, very special and very happy. I'll see you in my next video, which I'm sharing a little sneak preview of with you right now. If you like what you see, you know where to find me. Bye for now.